Welcome. Let's unbox these Old Man Emu Nitrocharger Sport shock absorbers. So these are for 3rd Gen 4runners. The part number is 673. And these are the soft valving. There are a lot of debates on the internet you'll see about what's valving to get with which of the springs. And it seems like the consensus is this is the way to go if you want a soft ride. Old Man Emu by default seems to give you the heavy duties because they expect you to have extra gear and bumpers, sliders, things like that. I have rock sliders and bigger wheels and tires, so I technically have more weight on the car, but I definitely like a soft ride. And up front I have Bilstein 5100 series, which I would not suggest. I feel like they're too soft with the Old Man Emu medium duty shocks, or sorry, springs. And in the back I have the mediums as well. I think they're called the 881s. So it seems like if you want the best ride, you go with the lightest spring you can get for the lift you desire, and the lightest valving you can get. Don't get me wrong, these are still a lot more heavy duty than the factory. I have factory shocks with a lift spring right now, the Old Man Emu lift spring, and it is saucy. There's very little control. Like, you just can't control. And when you go over big bumps and stuff, you can just feel the back. It'll rebound and it takes a minute to settle. There's not a lot of dampening where it settles after you hit a bump. So that's what we're hoping for with this installation. I'll give you a brief overview of it, and then we're going to throw it in. These in the rear are kind of a pain to get to, but yeah, we'll go over it real quick. This is the new construction of the Old Man Emu shock absorbers. They didn't used to be like this even just a couple years ago. They have added this crimped heavy-duty plastic case to protect against rocks and different debris getting to the stem inside of it. And you can see they have the part number stamped. I don't know if you can see in the light, but 60073. So you'll always know which valving you have because they're actually stamped on there. These are made in Australia, and don't stab them or get them hot is really what it tells you. Here's the end. They come blank. They've got this nice little protector, as well as it gives you a place to strap them so they can hold them down, because they're pressurized. As soon as you take the strap off, the shock will extend. And there are a lot of circumstances where you don't want to take this off unless you absolutely have to. So you typically mount the rear first, get the rear, and then you get this kind of aimed where you want it. Cut this, peel this off, and it will just slowly start to extend up, and you just line it up with the eyelet and let it sink in before you do that. So I don't suggest taking these off straight away. Obviously, you can just use some muscle and pull them back together when you need to get it up into its position, but it's actually easier to leave it just like this until you're ready. They come with some gear right here for the top. So bushing, spring, bushing and washer. Give you another washer and a lock nut. It's the nylock type with the nylon insert, but that's for up here. Then you have this bushing for down here. Easiest way to put these in is using grease, like axle grease. Just coat this in axle grease, go in here, give this just a little coating with axle grease. You could use oil, anything to just keep this from having a lot of friction against itself right here. Set this end on the ground. So just put it on the ground like this, line it up, put your foot on it, and just step on it. Or if you want, you can really send it with your arms, but I found it's easier to just step on it. Once it pops through, you're good to go. So that's our unboxing of the Nitrocharger Old Man Emu shocks for 3rd Gen 4runners. These are essentially the same, I think, up until about oh, I think it was 2014, or maybe I'm wrong, 16. So this is a very similar thing for Tacomas and 4runners up until about 2014 or 16, somewhere in there. So let's throw them on the vehicle. Now time to just tackle putting these shock absorbers on the old 3rd gen 4runner. So these can be an absolute pain, and I'll show you. Got some material down here so I don't get dirty all over the place, but let me try to not make you nauseous and show you the situation. You can see up in here where the wrench has to go is up on top of a frame plate. So it's kind of difficult to see from here, but that plate right up in here is just barely a couple inches from the floor of the 4runner. So the issue is, depending on which angle you approach this from, the shock is going to be up there rusted in, and you know, the bottom bolt is very easy to take out. All you got to do is pop that thing off, and then the whole shock will slide off. But up in here, let me set the light down and see if I can get you a better view. The shock right here, this upper portion that slides up and down, you need to hold this. So right here it'll twist, and it's all welded together to the stem, which is your only way of holding the bottom part of the shock. And when I say that, I mean if you just ratchet from up top, you'll twist the entire shock. So it gets annoying really fast when you're trying to loosen an old rusty bolt up on top, and it just spins like this. So you've got to find a way to grab this. Typically with your hand isn't enough. I've used a pipe wrench, so you can just stick a pipe wrench on the outside metal housing right there and just twist it from the top. So it's not very easy at all. This is one of the crappier jobs on this truck. I'd say a lot of things on this truck are pretty easy, but this rear shock, just the way that they designed this, you can't really access the top all that easily. And it's the same on the other side. Let me get you some light. Same situation, one bolt on the bottom, and there's still that upper frame plate back in there that you have to get up and around on top of. So yeah, I can show you real quick. Maybe I can set this up just enough for you to see what I'm doing. Maybe this will work, but basically just take the pipe wrench, stick it around right here, and let me show you right there. Just take the pipe wrench and just lock it onto the edge here, and then start twisting from above. It's definitely not easy, but that's how you got to do it. So I'll cut real quick, see if I can get some progress on it, and then show you in a second. I got the top nut off. It really helps to have a flexible head on the ratchet you're using. So when I'm using the ratchet, it's kind of on an angle like this. It's up in there, and I'm twisting it around that plate. So this really helps. By the way, this is a 14 millimeter. And then the next one is a 17 millimeter, which is down the bottom. But the one up on top, at least for this factory shock, is 14. It might be different for other shocks, but once you crack this guy loose, comes off fairly straightforward. I should have my Milwaukee ratchet, but you know, you can't do everything perfectly easy in life. Sometimes you just got to do it the old school way, but the Milwaukee ratchet definitely makes it a lot easier. And of course, it's just to the end where it still has a little ways to go. But yeah, I'll finish this up and show you what it looks like when we take it off. From here out, that's completely loose. All we need to do is grab the shock and pull it down like that. See that? And that's what I was dealing with up on top, is dust and rust and crap that was on that thread. But once I pop this off, just slide the shock off. So let me pop this off real quick and I'll let you see. All right, got the lower bolt off. It's not even really corroded. It's in really good shape actually. But this guy, sometimes you just have to pry these off. You can probably use the wrench. Sometimes not. Sometimes you actually might need a pry bar, but these typically, nope, won't come. These typically just pop off like that. And it wants to fight me because it's expanding, but let me get that out for you. After the struggle, I got those old shocks out. You can see it's pretty worn and beat up. It was still working, but with the lift springs and any sort of load, it would just really struggle to dampen any of the spring forces. But I have a scale, so I just wanted to throw these on just as a difference, to see the difference. Looks like 5 pounds, 7.8 ounces for the new Old Man Emu shock absorber. And I can tell this one's a lot heavier. It's a little heavier duty. Let's see how much though. Oh, 3.91. So over a pound heavier for the new one, but that's to be expected. This guy is a lot thicker. Like the body dimension is definitely thicker, and it's heavier duty, meant for some serious abuse. But yeah, there's a comparison for you, and we'll show you how to put the new one on real quick. Alright, like I mentioned earlier, to get this, in order to get this bushing in the end here, you're gonna need to put some grease on it. So let me get a fingerful of schmutz, as Al with the Skid Factory says. Some schmutz. That's pretty greasy. And I want to grease this up too. Just enough to help it accept the new bushing into its new home. So just like this. And these are kind of crazy. I find it easiest to just stomp on them, honestly. So go like this, get it lined up. Oh, sorry, getting the camera in, getting it in view is kind of tricky. You can kind of push on them like this, but they don't like to go past that critical point unless you just give them a smush. Just like that. You can wipe some of the extra grease off. And it's all over my foot. So it's making little grease marks all over the garage, which is sweet. But yeah, that's shock life. Now let's get one of these on the car. So we'll jump over to that real quick. All right, and this pin here, you could clean it up with a wire wheel. Mine is pretty corroded, but I'm just going to take some of that same grease and put it all around it. I want this shock to slide on as easy as possible and not bind up at all when it moves through its range of motion. I'll give this guy just a little bit of the grease on the end as well, and the plate, the back end right here, this washer, give it just a little bit of grease too. It's just something that'll make it easier, because these are they appear to be poly bushings, and it'll be a lot more difficult. Hold on one second. It'll be a lot more difficult for them to move back and forth if they don't have some proper lubrication on them. So the next thing is just bring them in here like this. and Sliderooski. Man, it ain't easy all the time, guys. That's for damn sure, especially when you're trying to film. I don't think people appreciate like a really good YouTuber that does super clean filming by themselves. Like it's like another level, man. So yeah, it's whole nother level. So there you go, just like that. And let me tilt this up. We're gonna have to get this guy lined up perfectly and then cut the strap. There's a strap here that holds the top down. We'll pull this off, snap the strap off, and get it to line up there with the bushings in their proper place on top of the pin up there. So I'm just gonna rearrange and we'll be right over. So let me get out from under this thing, not try to die. Okay, I hope this can show, convey a little bit of what's going on. Yeah, there we go. So here's the bottom. I'm probably just gonna wait to completely take the, oh shoot, this guy is already gotta come way down. See that? You can squeeze it, and then I gotta pop the top off this. There's this little protective cover. Set it to the side. Oh man, this is so fun. I'm telling you, working on cars, best thing in the world. Okay, there we go. And then got the washer on the bottom. Now we're gonna put this guy up on top, and then I don't know if you can see up in there. Maybe if I angle it, yeah, it's got to go up into that hole. So luckily it's nitro assisted. Whoa. So if I can just get this guy up in that hole, just like so, and yeah, we're in. Now just gonna throw this top washer and bushing on. Oh man, what a reach. Like, if you guys just knew what my arm was doing right now, you'd have more sympathy. But it's okay. You can sit and watch it on your phone. I do that a lot too. Sometimes I don't want to deal with what is involved in a project, so I just watch it on my phone too. But I'm doing this for the team, guys. I'm doing this for you. Threading this nylock on. And I think this nylock is a 17. I guess we're going to find out real soon, because I don't think it's the 14. We're going to check it. This is the Old Man Emu. They should call these shockaroos. That would be like really Australian, like roo, like kangaroo. But, oi mate, you shockaroo. Getting the shockies. No, they wouldn't say shocks, they'd say dampers, so it's all wrong anyway. Hey, it's a 17, guys. Sorry, I'm trying to make the best of this, really. My head is hurting, my neck is kinked, and I just want to get this guy installed so I can go rage my 4runner out in the bush. So yeah. All right. Well, I think I got this thing finally set up where I need it to be. I really appreciate you guys watching. I'll do a little review after the fact, and I'll do a review after the fact, and I will keep you updated on how it rides. I really want to go take some videos of it and show you guys how it is. So this is going to be the fun part. they give you like this little ridge at the top of the shock to hold the shock in there, because on the old shock, the metal housing, this little protective cover, was metal, and it was welded to the top, so you could just hold this and it would keep it from spinning. But now it's just spinning essentially in the plastic, and so it's not making it easy. Like it's going, but man, it's not easy at all. It's still spinning pretty aggressively, but I'm getting some progress. And you can't get the Milwaukee ratchet up in here. I mean, it's basically touching the top as is, so yeah. Sorry, my arm's in the way. You guys can't really see it, but I think we're about there. Yep. So, just going to bring this guy down. Feel pretty comfortable with that. Going to tighten this guy up just real quick. Oh, that grease on there helped it out. Just being a buddy. Of course, yep. Give it a snuggy snug so it doesn't blow off and kill me on the highway. And there you go. Give everyone a round of applause and subscribe for more awesomeness, because I'll be out here in the garage all winter. Thanks, guys. Take care.